Hello and welcome to Talking Tullahoma. I'm your host, Kelly Lapczynski, and today I am here with the cast of Steel Magnolias, the next show up at the South Jackson Performing Arts Center. So I have two of the actors here with me now. We're going to rotate in a number of them through the course of today. We have Kimberly Mayer, who is playing Truvy, and Anna Brockman, who is playing Annelle. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so I wanted to start with the two of you because we want to set the stage a little bit, so to speak, for people who aren't familiar with the show or are only familiar with the movie. Because in this case, we are dealing with an all-female cast in one set.
Yes.
And it's Truvy's Beauty Shop.
Yes.
So both of you are coming in. Truvy, it is your shop in your carport, but you are hiring a new girl. She's been to beauty school. I don't know if she's had a job prior to now, but you're both working the salon for the entire show.
Yeah.
You're working on somebody's hair. What did you have to do to prepare for this?
It was very fortunate that we have another cast member who's not able to be here today, who is an actual hairdresser in real life. And she cuts my hair, she cuts my kids' hair. And so I was able to get some tips from her, spend some time working with her, and just get a feel for some of the more nuances of hair cutting techniques and tips that you wouldn't necessarily know if you're not in that industry. And but I am very comfortable working on hair. I have 6 children, 5 of whom are girls, and so I've done a lot of hair and my own hair, so I'm comfortable behind a head. And so it's been a very fun process to just learn more and be able to do that on stage while you're in a production and be running a business and keeping track of what the new girl's doing and making sure she's doing her stuff right. So there's a lot.
Yeah,
Well, and unlike Kim, I have no experience with hair. Just sitting here getting ready to date, someone else had to come over and fix my hair. So that helped me get into the role of being the new girl. We're also really fortunate as part of the production team. Skylar Wanamaker has designed our wigs and has worked on our costumes, and he's just started school. So we had a session where he sat us down and told us all the terms. What would someone coming fresh out of school know? What will they do? What are, and so it's been really fun to try to learn and look as competent as you can while also acting like a new person to a salon, while also just acting in a scene. It's been really fun, and I'm really grateful that people have shown me, because I learned so many things that I just didn't realize go into doing people's hair and doing it well.
And that's the beauty of our production team and the actors, because you have Anna that was able to work with a newer student to the industry, Skylar, and then our Shelby, Buffy Bourdonnais, who's an experienced hairdresser, that's the one I worked with. So it was a beautiful match for both of our characters with our skill sets that we're supposed to have.
And speaking of skill sets, and in this particular era, one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that this show is set smack dab in the 80s.
Yes.
So this was not an era of subtle hairdos.
Oh, no. Big.
So Skylar has done a fabulous job on your wigs. I've already had a good look at those, and just about everybody does get to wear a big hair 80s wig as their character progresses over the course of, what is it, about 2 years it's covered in this way?
Yeah. Well, and I think that really speaks to oftentimes what we go through as women, especially the women in the show. It says something about your life, how you've done your hair, and for nothing else, this show is worth it for the wigs. The progression of wigs.
The amount of rolling, teasing, whatever you have to do to her hair. I remember when my grandma was doing that, and my mom, and
pulling through a cap to get it highlighted.
The old,
And I guess that is the best time I can say full disclosure, because she mentioned doing to my hair that I am also in the cast of Steel Magnolias. I am playing the character Weezer.
Yes.
So yes, you do get to pull my hair through a cap. We're assuming that that would then be a coloring, a highlighting, a frosting kind of a thing. That's
Yeah.
usually what that process
Yes.
Oh,
would
you
look like.
pulled that through and you brushed all that color on there. And yes.
And then we wrap you up with saran wrap. You know,
Right.
people who come see the show will get to see your hair sticking out. They won't get
Oh,
to see the saran wrap.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they'll get to see quite a feature. So Kimberly, while we've got you still here, what's your background in the theater and what drew you to this role?
Well, if you ask my mother, she would say I've always been dramatic as a child. And I really didn't get to do much in theater until high school. I performed in one musical, and that was Grease. And then I took a little break until I started teaching. I used to teach junior high, and that was a couple decades ago. And I worked with our music director just to help her with our junior productions with our junior high students. So more so behind the scenes, helping on the production end with the children and working on projecting and all the fine points of theater for children. And then I had a very long break until we moved here to Tennessee. My family moved here 4 years ago, and we found South Jackson. We homeschool, and we found their theater program for homeschoolers, Teach, and got involved with that. And it's been a wonderful opportunity and experience for my older children. And so I began helping out on the production side of that with the kids. And this was actually this will be my third show at South Jackson. My first one on stage was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow on the outdoor stage. And then myself, my husband, and 3 of my children were in White Christmas in 2023, and that was phenomenal. And this is really my debut as a lead.
That's exactly
And
where
it's-
I was going. Yes.
It's been such a blessing, and what a wonderful journey. And I don't think I could have asked for a better cast, a better director, a better production team. This whole experience has been phenomenal. And just to be able to experience the role of Truvy and kind of see how I fit in with that and how I could bring her and her personality to the stage has been just incredibly fun.
And what drew you to this script in the first place? When you say this is your first lead role at South Jackson, what said, this is the one where I'm going to try for it and I'm going to go for it?
This show, when I was in high school, I competed on speech team. I don't know if they still even do that, but speech team is like theater competition. You can pick a variety of roles, different area, radio, different categories that you can compete in. And so I did dramatic interpretation, and I did dramatic interpretation with Steel Magnolias. And what that is where you pick a segment from a play and you perform as 2 or more characters. And so there is a very long, a beautiful dialogue between Malin and Shelby, mother-daughter. And I performed that myself in speech team, and then I also did that same segment as a dramatic duet with a partner. And so this show, and those characters in particular are very near and dear to my heart. And when I saw South Jackson was doing this, it just brought back so many wonderful memories. And I said, okay, I just have to try. And now I'm older than I was 20 some years ago. And so I fit in with the age of the Truvy and Malin characters. And all of these 6 women are just phenomenal characters in and of themselves. And to be able to play any of them, I imagine is such a fun experience. But I'm really having fun with Truvy.
Well, good. And Anna, I know we're going to talk to you again a little bit later about you have done this role before, and we'll come back to that. But this isn't your first time as a lead. People would have seen you most recently, possibly in Fiddler on the Roof in the Manchester Arts Center.
Yes.
Millennium Rep.
Right. So this is a bit of a whiplash for me. I was playing like a 50-year-old woman. Now I get to play a 19-year-old. But I love that. I love the opportunities for community theater here in this area. We are so fortunate. for that. And I love the community theater here. It's so fun, and to see different people come out and meeting all sorts of people. But I just couldn't stay away from Steel Magnolias. It's a special show, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
All right, well, ladies, we've got to take our first commercial break. It is a special show, and we're going to talk a little bit more about why it is so special when we come back right after this. When severe weather strikes, stay informed about power outages with TUA's new online outage map. Visit our webpage at tub.net and click the View Outage Map icon to see the number of customers affected and where they are. Use the bottom icons to find out the cause of the outage and how long it might take to restore power. You can even zoom in to see if the outage is in your neighborhood. Call 348-1795 to report an outage. And welcome back to Talking Tullahoma. Once again, I'm Kelly Lapczynski, and I'm here today talking to members of the cast of Steel Magnolias. Now, we have gone ahead and left our Truvy in her place, but we've added Zoe Hunt, who's playing Malin. And the reason I wanted you two in this segment is because now I want to talk about why this show is so special and the heart of the show. And that really comes down to the two of you. You are the anchors around which zany characters like myself, Weezer, and Clary can bounce off of. But it's where the emotion comes. And it's where character arcs like the one that Annelle has, that we'll talk about later, can really play because there's a safe, solid place to play. So since we've already talked to you a little bit, I see you reacting to that. Tell me, Zoe, what are your thoughts about what I just said?
I just think that this is a show that has a really important message, right? You see so many things in so many shows that have male leads or that have, male and female leads, but I don't think you see women showcased as much. And this is kind of a beautiful story about friendship and chosen family and how they can get you through some of the hardest times in your life. And it means so much to me, and I know it does to the rest of the cast as well, to be able to be a part of that and represent that.
And not to put you on the spot, but there's also a bit of loss. We don't want to give away too much for anybody. We hope we're going to get some people who haven't already seen the movie. But there is loss or suffering. There's a little bit of emotion in this play, and you are coming to that from a very fresh, personal perspective. Will you tell us a little bit about that? Can you?
Yes, I can. I recently lost one of my mothers back in November, so it's very raw. And the character, I actually have the same experience as her as well. I don't want to give too much away if anyone hasn't seen it, but having to go through that on stage, it's very cathartic, actually, knowing the loss that you experience and sharing that with people, being that vulnerable. But it's important to show people that, you need to express that emotion and that you need to reach out to your community and not go through that alone, because Malin really does try to hold it together for everyone. She tries to have that rock and be that stronghold. And when she finally does break, it's her chosen family and her friends that are there for her and support her. It's just beautiful.
And that's where we come back to Truvy, because when this happens, when this tragedy happens, Malin finds her place and her friends with her Saturday morning haircutting crew, the ladies of the neighborhood who come every week to Truvy's. And Truvy says, I'm even going to stay open for her, and the ladies all come.
I think it's a beautiful depiction of what we all need, what we all desire on some level, and that is community. And we are not made to be alone. We are made to live and be in community. And Truvy Salon provides that for these ladies. it's not just a place to get their hair done, although they do get their hair done very fabulously. It is a second home. It is their place where they walk through those doors and they can just drop their shoulders and just be their authentic selves. And they are friendships, and they laugh and they cry and they go through, you see the whole arc of life experience in this place. And so I think that's one of the other beauties that you mentioned before, the uniqueness of this just being a show where it all takes place in one place.
And it's actually really been such a remarkable experience also because we have an incredible production staff, and just a huge thank you to our director, Rob Wanamaker. I mean, we could not do this show had we not had the support, had we not been able to bond as a cast and be able to be kind of the heart of the show. We go into the theater and it is like really walking into Truvy Salon because of the environment that they've created for us, and it's just been incredible.
Along with all the community partners that have come out and always do for the shows and donate.
Absolutely.
I donate, then somehow we manage to procure the things we need. It gets done, and it is. You're walking into a 1980s beauty parlor. It's
Lovely.
great.
Now, you said something in the first segment that I sort of wanted to come back to, because you mentioned about finding Truvy's character and falling into Truvy's character. And how does that apply when we look at you as the rock and the foundation, as the place to come? What part of that did you draw from your own life or that has meaning for you?
Honestly, it's me. That is just, I am the oldest child. Anybody who is an oldest child kind of knows. I've always just been kind of a natural leader, and as a wife and a mother, and you are the rock of your home. I'm there with my kids. You're managing the household and all of the things, and I certainly couldn't do what I do. And couldn't have put in any of the time and the effort for this show and to make this performance what it will be without the support of my family, especially my husband. But that's just who we are as women. We have to endure life storms. We have to weather everything most of the time with a smile on our face and just doing the next right thing because it's got to be done. And so it's been fun to draw from my own personal experience to play Truvy, but I've also enjoyed what the playwright wrote in for her with the humor and the quirks, because it's fun to be funny, and she's got some great lines, and I just truly enjoy playing her and playing off of her in this show.
All right, well, we have come to our second commercial break. You've perfectly defined what it is to be a steel magnolia, and we'll meet another one right after this. Did you know that Tullahoma Utilities Authority has a solar farm right here in Tullahoma? For as little as $4 a month, you can support solar energy production and breathe a little easier, knowing you're taking positive action to reduce your carbon footprint. Call 455-4515 today. When severe weather strikes, stay informed about power outages with TUA's new online outage map. Visit our webpage at tub.net and click the View Outage Map icon to see the number of customers affected and where they are. Use the bottom icons to find out the cause of the outage and how long it might take to restore power. You can even zoom in to see if the outage is in your neighborhood. Call 348-1795 to report an outage. And welcome back to Talking Tullahoma once again. I'm Kelly Lapczynski with the final pieces of the Steel Magnolias cast that we're going to meet today, because as we mentioned before, Buffy Bourdonnais was not able to join us. That is Shelby. But we do have Rosie Graham, who is playing Clary. And of course, Anna has joined us again. And I wanted to speak to the two of you together because you are in a unique position in this cast, and that you both have played your characters before. You've not just been in the play before, you've been in these same roles. So I don't know how long ago it was for either with you, Rosie. I'll probably start with you here. Okay. It's probably been a minute.
At least. Actually, it was 2004. Okay. So it's been about 20 years that I played Clary the first time. And at the time, it was the first non-musical part that I'd ever played. It was the first time I'd been in a straight play. Or even, I've directed a number of plays. I have done, musicals was my thing. And this was the first play that really interested me to play a part in.
So how has your approach to Clary changed with those additional 20 years between the first time you played it and now? Does anything strike you different about the role?
I think that I understand the character better. Actually, she is more my age now than 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think that I have a better feel for the dynamics of who she is and how she feels and the loss of her husband and some of the things that go on. She has got a compassion that comes across in sort of a funny way, but she has a compassion for people, and I think I feel like I understand that better now in this particular role. I will say it's been harder because learning lines and memorizing lines at my age has been a little more difficult. And I also will say, because I play off of you, Kelly, who plays Weezer and Clary, have a lot of bantering between us and actually feeling between us. And it's been a really good experience to get to know you better. Yes. in this part, and to know each other.
And we actually saw the play together back in 1988 or 89 on off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway, one of the first times it was done with an original
it was a
cast.
Movie.
It was, and I think it impressed me then, which was one reason when it came up that first time, I thought, I want to do this play. This is a play that I would be interested in being in that part and doing that.
So now, Anna, you, same question. I mean, you've done this before. How much time was between them, and has your approach to Nell changed in that time?
Yes. Short answer. Long answer is I had the opportunity to do this show when I was in college, and a fellow student directed it. So that was really interesting. It is funny, though, a bunch of college-age students playing this great breadth of experience and ages. And I'm so grateful to be able to return back to Annelle. I love her so much. I love to see a character that grows so much and changes.
She's got a roller coaster.
Which is great. And so I love her so much, but I'm really grateful to return back to her with the experience I have. I played 19-year-old Annelle when I was 19, and I'm not 19 anymore. And since then, I have experienced loss of loved ones. I have experienced working with older women who have taught me more and more who I am. I've gotten married. I've been pregnant and given birth to a daughter. And all of that gives me so much more perspective on a young Annelle, what she would have gone through. So I'm grateful that I played it the first time and I got to play around with it. And I'm grateful again for the layers that's added to me. I just wish I would have been able to hold on to my lines better in all those years. Somehow they got lost, but the spirit of Annelle is still there.
And that is one of the things I wanted to say. You were talking about the character changes for Annelle, and hers are the most pronounced. But one of the things I really love about this play is that in large and small ways, every character over the course of 2 years has some major breakthrough or change in character, some little arc, some large arc.
Right.
But of the 6 women on that stage, there's no one up there that's a stereotyper or an archetype that you just go, they're just there as the comic relief. And when the playwright wrote this, he didn't write a comedy. No. He wrote a drama, and the original cast was surprised by the laughs. And I think so many people lose that You know, you see people playing the laugh, and I feel like this cast has really found the heart of the show. I'm really hoping that people come out to see it, which is why before we are told we're run out of time, I want to get the dates and times out there. So Rosie, why don't I leave that to you?
Right. I'll be happy to say that. We're actually performing the first 2 weekends in February, which actually starts the 31st of January, the 1st and 2nd of February, and then the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And the Friday, Saturday performances are at 7 o'clock, and the Sunday afternoon performances are at 2:30. So you've got 6 opportunities to see this, and we think that's a good thing. And it is at South Jackson Performing Arts Center, and we are just delighted to be performing on that stage again.
Absolutely. And the newly renovated stage?
Newly renovated seats, newly renovated stage floor. I mean, it's amazing. It's just been amazing. So,
Well, tickets start at $18.
$18 for upstairs. On the sides, it is $20 to $22, and in the center, $25 tickets in the center, and it's worth every penny of it.
And then you can get them at 455-5321. Is that correct?
5321. Or
And-
you can go to the website and go to tickets and click on, and you can go directly and pick your own seats and pick the night that you want and get that all taken care of. So,
Okay, so we are, as we're recording, we're not quite 2 weeks out. We're a little less than 2 weeks
a
out.
little scary.
And that's when the work really gets done. That's when you
Right.
crunch down, the set gets built, everything gets exciting, and everything that gets these long nights. What are you guys looking forward to most about opening the show?
Oh, gee. Opening night is always anticipatory. I'm always excited. I get butterflies in my stomach, but it's such a thrill to be able to walk out on that stage and fall into character. I'm really, when you become that character with an audience out there, it just sells it to you. It's a lot easier to perform to an audience than it is to perform to just seats. And so we hope you'll come out and be in the audience. We want a great audience out there for us, because that will make us even better.
Anna, any final words from you?
I'm so excited to put this in front of an audience, because it's not a play if you don't have anyone to play to, and it becomes a living thing. So, like Rosie, I'm excited for all the nervousness, all the butterflies, and I'm excited to share this with our community.
All right, guys. Well, we have run out of time. We look forward to having you as our 7th character. The play is not complete without you. Come see us at South Jackson Performing Arts Center, and then watch us here again on Talking Tullahoma next time. See you then.
Never miss your favorite shows